Hello and welcome to Back to the Feature with Evan and Gabby. Double features, double takes. This is the podcast where we talk about two movies, one new, one older, what makes them a good pair, and how the history of films influences the present. I'm Evan.
And I'm Gabby.
And today we are discussing K-pop Demon Hunters and Into the Spiderverse. Two modern animated marvels about chosen heroes and their inner literal demons. And today we are joined by a very special guest. The first guest our podcast has had, Matt Prince.
Yo, what's up?
Otherwise known across the internet as Sweet Boy Matt. You may know him from the internet, but we know him all the way from Emerson College.
Don't dox us, Gabby.
Of 19.
I'm wearing a USC sweatshirt today. I'm really wearing my brands. I'm wearing my student loans on my chest.
And Matt and I are both wearing LA hats. So I guess if people really could, they could triangulate our lives pretty easily.
They definitely could. Mm-hmm. I'm not that secretive. I wish I was more secretive than I am.
So as Gabby said, of course, Matt, a content creator himself, has been helping us out on the podcast, producing in the background with the technical things. So it's been great to have Matt behind the scenes and now in front of the camera, because Matt, you're a huge K-pop fan, right?
I am. Huge would be an understatement. I'm kidding. Casual, strong K-pop fan, definitely.
Okay. I mean, that's really good compared to my, I've heard 3 K-pop songs in my entire life, definitely at your house, and I've just tuned it out. Tune it out.
You gotta listen to it. You gotta let it permeate, you know?
The demons are keeping me from letting it sink in.
That's Gabby's shame.
It's my shame. I'm wearing this sweatshirt so you can't see my patterns, actually.
The purple patterns.
All right, well, before we get into K-pop Demon Hunters, let's just touch a little bit of movie news. We are recording on November 1st, and that means the trades are looking back at October, and per the Hollywood Reporter, this was a terrible time for the box office.
So bad.
They
really bad.
Reported in October 2025 is the worst showing in 27 years, earning $425 million domestically here in the US. This excludes October 2020, the heart of the COVID-19 pandemic. So just comparing Octobers, this has been the worst one in 27 years, excluding 2020. If it weren't for the official release party of Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl album, this would probably be an even worse time for the box office at large. So I don't know, guys, what do you think? I know October generally a really exciting month. There's a lot of horror movies that come out and things like that, but are people just kind of over the movie experience? Is it bad movies or movies that just people aren't interested in seeing? Any thoughts around this?
I mean, I think that we didn't get a really big horror release like other than Black Phone 2, which was kind of received middlingly, and not a huge franchise. It's the second installment in a franchise, but it's not something that had lit the world on fire. I think that October is usually when people look to go see a horror movie, especially, and we were kind of lacking in that area. I mean, other than, would you say Chainsaw Man is horror? I know it's an anime.
Yeah, it has horror elements for sure, but I feel like these anime movies are mostly, they mostly cater to people who are already watching the show. I mean, Matt, I know you and I are both kind of casual fans of anime and things like that, but would you check out a movie if you hadn't seen the series first?
I mean, no, most of the time these movies pick up from where the anime left off, or it takes place in a certain point in the timeline or the narrative. So no, I wouldn't just randomly watch one. No.
Yeah, I feel the success.
Maybe people will get confused though, because it's called Chainsaw Man, the movie. Yeah. So maybe people think it's a horror and they go into it and then they know it's Japanese anime.
Yeah, a couple.
Is that a date night movie for you?
Definitely. I think that if that happened, I would be broken up with in the parking lot of an AMC. Um, but I don't know. It's just, I think that also the big IP play of October was Tron Ares, which did not get received very well and did not make very much money. We touched on that a little bit in our last episode, but I think that was just a gross overestimation of what people are interested in and what like IP is interesting to revive, or that people are hungry to go see more of. Like, respectfully, the last Tron movie was not like a huge success that they revived like 10-15 years ago. So what made them think that Jared Leto was gonna save the day at the box office in an AI movie? I don't know. I think it's just a lot of miscalculating what people are interested in at this moment. And weird release date schedules. Like, I feel like that Conjuring movie that made a ton of money in like August or September could have been released in October and probably made even more money, probably double. Like, just because it's a spooky season.
Yeah, I wonder if there's just ideas that like horror movies, like they want people to be primed for October. Like maybe this is like similar to Christmas creep. This is horror movie creep. Horror Halloween movie creep, but like it's heading into September. We're maybe learning the wrong lessons about like pre-marketing for the season. I guess we'll have to see. It is surprising that things like Springsteen Delivered Me from Nowhere, which came out last week, didn't quite I imagine like light the world on fire. Ooh,
you're saying that you were not on fire for the boss?
Yeah.
You did not get that reference to the song I'm on Fire, did you?
No, I inferred it was a reference and I was trying to come up with a response.
Got it. Well,
but then I thought
the boss is disappointed. That's not Bon Jovi.
I know.
But yeah, I wonder if the boss is disappointed that his movie didn't do so well. And just last year we got A Complete Unknown, which was pretty successful and had this resurgence of like Bob Dylan loving around it. I wonder if the boss is disappointed.
Maybe he just thinks like I gotta go and do it myself, and they'll DH him and he'll just do the whole movie again.
That's what that movie was missing. I did not see that movie. I had zero desire to see it, and then the reviews just kind of confirmed that I didn't want to see it. And then if it had made a ton of money, we probably would have wanted to cover it. But thankfully, that does not seem to be happening.
Yeah, I just feel like I haven't heard anything about it. So I guess listen, it's an exciting end of the year for movies. There's a lot, I think there's a lot to be excited for. A lot of like with Avatar, Wicked for Good, like these bigger plays for broader audience reach. I think
The Running Man.
I'm
skeptical of The Running Man, but
I did see one of our listeners did comment and say that The Running Man is the movie they're most looking forward to for the rest of the year, which I thought was nice.
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to The Running Man because I like that cast, but I have said it before on the pod. I'll say it again. I'll say it on the Running Man episode. I'm not an Edgar Wright girl. I'm just not. I've tried. I've really tried. I promise that I've tried. It's just not my vibe.
I like his early stuff. I like Scott Pilgrim a lot, and I think right now it's interesting as a filmmaker who's very interested in a very specific type of energy. As you get older, what kind of things interest you, right? So I'm excited to see where this does take him. But I also agree with your.
It's also a Stephen King adaptation, though, so those do tend to work. Like, there's a reason why that man is still writing, and not just because he likes it. Because every time he sets his fingers on a keyboard, $1 billion movie is made or close to it, like the man has a following.
You're saying The Life of Chuck made $1 billion?
We don't talk about The Life of Chuck on this podcast.
You're saying The Long Walk made $1 billion?
We didn't talk about The Long Walk on this podcast.
Matt,
I'm talking about The Shining, the good old ones. Come on, Evan.
Sure, yeah.
Adjusted for inflation.
Right, yeah. Doctor Sleep, of course.
Dr. Sleep starring with my favorite Rebecca Ferguson performance maybe ever as a character named The Hat.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, her character is named The Hat. I love it very much.
I think I'll watch it.
She's really good in that movie, and she's good in everything. She's very good in a movie that I think is not good that just came out recently that I at one point had on our calendar to cover and rapidly took off like immediately.
House of Dynamite.
A House of Dynamite.
Yeah,
Oof.
I know. You were really hot on that one, and I'm surprised I didn't hear anything about it from you.
That movie made me angry. It made me actually like viscerally angry because it is about nothing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Matt, as a more casual moviegoer, what would get you excited to go see something in theaters in October?
I don't know. There's kind of a whole lot
November.
of nothing. Like, I just, I'm very casual moviegoer. Like, I like the movies and I want to see them, but I heard you guys are talking about movies and I was trying to think myself, what am I looking forward to that's coming out? Like, what would I even go see right now? And I literally couldn't think of a thing. Until Wicked comes out, I don't know.
Yeah.
Matt is not clamoring to the specialty box office to see Sentimental Value.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. There you go. I'm trying to think now what's left that I'm most looking forward to that's on the release. I'm scrolling through it all. I guess it might now be Marty Supreme, which is pretty wild.
For me, it's definitely Marty Supreme, but I don't know. I'm pretty like excited about Eternity, which is a much smaller release.
I was literally gonna say I take it back and say Eternity.
I feel like that's just a movie that's very like both of our vibes, both of our tones, perfectly. So I think that's going to be an excellent episode of this podcast, if not like a huge hit at the box office. But I saw that trailer and I was locked in.
Yeah, 1000%.
And I asked at our home theater out here in Burbank, they now have huge posters of Miles Teller and Callum Turner on each of the pillars when you walk in, like front and center. And I like just looked at them and I looked at my partner and I was like, which one would you pick for Eternity? And she was like, maybe the fucked up looking one. And I was like,
don't clarify which one she was talking about.
I won't. Because I was like, there's a secret third option, Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, do you think? Well, let's just wait. We'll talk about it in the Eternity pod.
We'll wait.
Let's get into K-pop Demon Hunters, shall we?
Let's do it. Let's dive deep.
Matt, as you're familiar with this, but we always start off by saying, how did we watch this movie? Matt, how did you watch K-pop Demon Hunters?
I watched it legally, which is what I will say.
Okay.
Perfectly legally with a Netflix account. And that's how I did it.
On a TV, on a computer?
Yeah, it was on a TV. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I was at least on a TV.
Yeah.
Good enough.
In my house. Yeah. 1080p.
1080p.
The way God intended. My 55-inch TV. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Netflix compression.
Yeah. Kids got a sound bar,
Yeah,
we're all right.
That helps.
Yeah, I got a good setup.
Gabby, how about yourself?
I also watched at home. I locked in also on my superior 60-inch OLED 4K television.
Damn.
Nobody cares about that but me. It's just
I do,
me. But
a lot. I want that.
Stay jealous. But I watched it. I locked in. My dog locked in. My dog Juno actually sat and stared at the screen and watched this movie. I don't know if it's just because she was vibing or if it's just like playing to only colors. Like the colors are so bright that even a dog can see it. But I also watched this movie the day before Halloween, and I'm very glad that I did because I gave out candy to a lot of little demon hunters yesterday.
Oh my god.
The costumes were amazing, honestly. The parents really went all in on these costumes.
Dang, I wish I saw these, like, because I know it's very popular. I've been here. A lot of my coworkers have kids, and they're talking about how, like, at the schools, the kid parade, the Halloween costume parades, there's all these kids dressed up as characters from K-pop Demon Hunters, which is incredible. Which is a great segue to also talk about how I saw the movie. I've seen it twice. So after this movie came out, I had multiple people telling me, gotta watch the movie, gotta watch the movie. Then I heard that there was this theatrical screening of it happening. And I was like, oh, that's cool. This would be a great way to watch this movie for the first time. I forgot to get tickets. And by the time I remembered, every seat was sold out. And I was like, dang, people love this movie. And if you were on social media around that time, you probably saw Instagram reels of people like scream singing in the theaters because they love the movie so much. And I was like, dang, I wish I was there for that. So flash forward to the beginning of October. I go to a karaoke birthday party. People are singing the songs of K-pop Demon Hunter. I was like, oh man, I gotta watch this movie now. Still don't watch the movie. I go to a wedding, and at the wedding, I don't know if this is true for weddings you guys have been to recently, but there's this trend where there is kind of like a DJ and like an MC. And this MC is like kind of dancing with people on the dance floor, like has a mic, and she's like passing around the mic so people can sing along here and there. And one of the songs I've recognized from K-pop Demon Hunters comes up, Golden, which is the one that probably everyone knows, right? And so they're playing it. I'm like, oh, I know this song. I can, at this point by proxy, I can sing along with it. Then the song towards the end of K-pop Demon Hunters comes on. This is a song that is a character kind of like apologizing in a certain sense, but like also bringing together her friends and kind of like it's a very like hopeful song, but it is like coming from a place of being like, hey, I kind of messed up. When this song starts playing, one of the bridesmaids grabs the mic and starts singing the song and sings the full song and is crying while singing it. And this is such a moment for me that I'm like, I need to know what is going on with this song and how people are reacting so strongly to this. And then I watched the movie and I felt that was kind of a weird song to sing. So
that's truly horrifying. Like that's the scariest thing that you could have possibly said to me the day after Halloween, is that somebody just started sincerely bursting out into song at a wedding. If anyone bursts out into song at my wedding, it's we're calling security. It's out. It's on site.
So this is like, everyone's on the dance floor and that kind of stuff, right? So it's at least of the moment. And so the next day, I drive home from the wedding, I put on K-pop Demon Hunters. I watching it at my parents' house, one of the oldest TVs in the world, or old modern TVs. It's terrible quality. I'm just watching like, okay, this is fun. I get it. I like it. And then I logged on Letterboxd. Like, I really think they'll put this back in theaters at least one more time for the FYC campaign around Golden, with the For Your Consideration campaign for voting in the Oscars. And then they announced that it was going to be back in theaters this Halloween weekend. And I said, you know what? I'm setting alarms. I'm setting calendar event reminders. I'm buying tickets immediately. As soon as they go on sale, I'm waking up. I'm buying a ticket. And so I bought a ticket to 12:30 November 1st, the AMC Burbank 16. And as I was like, throughout the week, I was just seeing like, oh, is this theater going to fill up? And lo and behold, it did. When I go to this theater, it is just parents and their kids and there's kids' friends. And these are like kids like at elementary schoolers, and this whole theater is filled with just like elementary schoolers, their parents, and then like some adults who are like my row specifically was all like adults. And after that, it was all kids. Did you feel weird
being an adult with no child?
No, because I was sitting next to parents and other adults, right? And they were all like, I think they knew how much their kid liked it, but they liked it, and they knew the appeal that it had in general. Because like, as the movie was starting, people were like laughing and things like that, and it was so great to see how much these kids loved this movie. It was just so incredible to me. During the first song that plays in the movie, In the second row of the theater, there were 5 little girls, all holding hands, just jumping up and down and singing. It was so cute. Gabby has
That's
a look
adorable.
of disgust on her face. Okay,
no. That's adorable.
Yeah,
God.
it was so cute.
I can't help it if my looks of disgust are similar to my looks of like, oh.
Yeah, I truly was like, yeah, I kind of teared up during, because I was just like, this is gonna be, you would hope that this is like a formative memory for them, but we'll get, I would love, we'll get more into this movie and the theatrical experience, I think, and some of that as we kind of talk about it. But let's talk about the movie. Let's intro this movie formally now. K-Pop Demon Hunters was released June 20th, 2025 on Netflix, followed by a limited theatrical release and now re-release, including a sing-along version, which means there's just lyrics on the screen that you can see and read. The vocal track is still there. This film was directed by Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans, written by Danya Jimenez, Hannah McMeechan, Maggie Kang, and Chris Applehans, story by Maggie Kang, produced by Michelle Wong, and music by Marcelo Zarvos, starring a stellar voice cast of Arden Cho, An Ho-sup, Mei Hong, Ji Young-yu, Yoonjin Kim, Daniel Dae Kim, Kim Jong, and Lee Byung-hun, as well as many, many other people. And it'd be remiss not to highlight the vocal cast, including EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami, who do the singing voices for Huntrix, as well as Andrew Choi, who is the voice of Jinu, and as well the K-pop group Twice, who feature in several songs that Huntrix sings. This movie follows a group of girls who are by day are K-pop stars, by night superstars. By night, they protect the world from demons by using their vocal talents to create the Hunmoon, a kind of like seal to prevent demons from erupting from the earth. And this is their generation. Every generation this has happened. This is the current generation's chance to seal the golden Hunmoon, to make sure that this lasts for the next generation. And the demons have a plan to combat this. They're gonna fight fire with fire.
The demons have mobilized. The demons have organized.
Yeah, you've got the Demon King, Gima, behind you, Gabby.
I do. I sure do. I really related to him.
And they're gonna fight fire with fire with their own band, boy band, the Saja Boys. Love hearing the kids scream Saja Boys in the theater. It was so cute, so funny. All right, well, let's go around. Let's get some general movie thoughts. Gabby, how'd you feel about this movie? What'd you think about it? I
had a great time. I had a lot of fun. I think that I completely see the appeal, and did it like blow my socks off? No, but I think that had to do more with just me not being as connected to like this kind of like the K-pop fandom, or like as susceptible to it. But I did think that the music was incredible. Like this music felt better than any K-pop I have heard, like of K-pop groups. Uh-huh. And that might just be my cinema bias, but I think that, yeah, I see why this movie is so successful. And I think that a huge factor of it is the music. And just like, you can't make a musical movie, animated or otherwise, where the music is bad or the music is not catchy. Like if it like a movie like this is gonna live and die on these songs, and I think that that it knows that. Like I think that the movie feels aware in all of those performance kind of set pieces that they are showcasing something really special. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, we'll definitely dive into some of the specificities around the music, and maybe some of the pacing with how they introduce some of these songs too. Matt, what do you think of K-Pop Demon Hunters?
I liked it. It was fun. I feel similarly to Gabby, where I liked it a lot. I was really invested in it. I wasn't like, I'm not a little girl, so I wasn't like really obsessed with it. But I got the appeal, and being a K-pop fan, I understood a little more of the references and sort of the, I don't know if lore is the correct thing to say about just like a country's genre of music or whatever, but I don't know. I understood like kind of what they were trying to reference in a lot of places.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like maybe some of that. I'm curious how much of that will kind of fill in some gaps that I have as far as how I felt about the film, which similar place to you guys, but I do think I'm a little bit more. Uh, I wasn't as into it. I think there was some. I think there's some really interesting like, uh, missing kind of links between the demons and like how that's related to the main character Rumi, and what that the broader message is of how are you the potential shame that you may have in your life for the things that you try to hide and what that looks like. And I do think the movie is like maybe a little bit like messy to the point of just like, well, does it know what it's doing, like, and that's where I know it's for kids, and I do know, but at this I'm like, but I don't know if it's concrete for kids too, but like I love that people love this movie, and I really like you guys said the same thing, you all feel like the music is great, see the appeal, had a lot of fun watching it. I especially love the way the movie so concretely sets its tone, like comedically and animation wise in the first like 10 to 15 minutes, starting with that kind of like pseudo videography feel when you're in the crowd and the fans are talking about who the singers are.
They're doing the Regina George thing from Mean Girls, where it's like when people are around the school are talking about like, you haven't heard about Regina George, I heard she models, or
it's really
in
good
Germany.
storytelling.
It's a really great tool. I loved that whole opening. Just the whole cold open. I feel like, like you said, Evan, just like the animation style, the humor style, but also just like, setting the tone and introducing us to these characters in such an efficient way. And also introducing us to demons like right away, and just kind of helping us dive into like, okay, this is part of this world. Like if you can't get on board with it, get out now.
And also,
you see it pretty fast.
Also, like, I feel like that opening really captures like the range of K-pop fans. Like, Matt, what'd you think about that?
Yeah, totally. I really related to not that I'm like a big dude, but like the big dudes in the crowd that were like, "We love Ruby" or whatever. I was like, that's me as hell. When it got to the end of the movie and in the credits and they show Twice, especially my girl Chaeyoung, I was just like, oh, my queen. I was like, yeah, that's me in the crowd.
Could you, when for the songs that Twice sings, could you pick up that it was them immediately doing the songs?
I think if I weren't hungover, maybe. But I was like having a hard time. But I liked it.
That's fair. I mean, I think they did a nice job like blending everything too, right?
Yeah. Because it's like the one song that's in it that isn't like a Huntrix songs. When they play strategy, when they get back to the hotel room and they're like, oh, we can relax. Like, that's a Twice song. That's not a Hunter song. That's like, blah, blah, blah. So that one, I mean, I know that song, and I was immediately just like, yeah, sure, that's Twice. But I think, if I recall correctly, Twice did like a version of Takedown, and I believe it was only in the credits. So I don't remember if any of the Twice versions were throughout the course of the film. I think it was just for the credits. And I believe that Twice was offered Golden to do a cover of it, and they didn't really know that it was going to be big, so they chose Takedown because they're like, oh, that sounds cool. And I believe I recall them doing an interview where they were like, oh, we should have chose Golden, damn.
Feels like a lot of people connected to this movie are now having regrets about doubting this movie. But I mean, we alluded to, there are definitely some plot holes. There are definitely some questions that I have, but that could just be, that we're grown adults and not small children that are like taken by the majesty of Huntrix.
And the Saja Boys, don't forget Soda Pop.
And the Saja Boys, I can't forget Soda Pop.
To like build off of what Evan was saying, that maybe this is how you feel, Evan. You were talking about how you felt that the demon's plot was a little undercooked, and I agree. Like, I think that my opinion was, a lot of this movie is being like, hey, you might have insecurities, you might have things that you don't feel proud of. Don't hide those, just be outward about them and be proud of them. But we never show demons not sucking. Like, demons they're just objectively bad. Like, besides Genu at the end, he obviously likes, this is spoilers, but this movie's been out for like 6 months now.
Spoilerville, taking the hard right.
Here we go. But Genu sacrifices himself at the end to protect the Rumi, I believe was her name. And that's like the one time a demon does anything okay. So other than that, demons are just bad. They give us no reason why we shouldn't like hide being a demon. Like, ugh,
Yeah, I was like a little bit confused by that because I was like, is Rumi the only kind of good demon we're supposed to see here? Like, she's half demon, but what are we trying to say? That like she can only be good because she's half? Or like what does that side of her do? In the beginning, it seemed like it was taking her voice away, which I thought was really interesting. It was like kind of like, okay, you're letting this part of you get the better of you, and it's taking something from you that is your power, like your superpower. And I thought that was interesting. I thought we lost the thread on that a little bit, and just on her background. I mean, I'm sure that there will be plenty of spin-offs and sequels pitched for the future of the K-pop Demon Hunter universe. But I had questions, like there were just some things that I felt like, oh, we're not going to go back to that. Like I was kind of interested by that part of the plot, Yeah. And I think Matt brings up a good point about the demons where, like what would it have looked like to even spend, like, this movie's not very long. You could have spent, even two scenes, like 2 short scenes showing like demons that are also kind of in flux about their feelings about themselves, and I think we kind of get that with, what's his name?
Genu.
Genu is clearly struggling, with some stuff, but he's also not what we want him to be in the end necessarily. He still puts those demons on stage at the Icon Awards.
I think it's so interesting because like the shame that just to take a step back, right, the main K-pop stars in this movie, right, Huntrix is the name of the group, Rumi is the lead, and the other 2 characters' names are Mira and Zoe. Zoe is from Burbank, California. Got a huge cheer in the theater. And Genu is the leader of the Saja Boys, the demon boy band group, right? So Rumi is revealed that she's half demon, and right, this is what Matt and Gabby and I have just been talking about as far as just like what. And if she's trying to seal the demons away, what does that mean for the demon side of herself, right? And I think where it gets messy, where these things get messy, is because the thing that she feels shame about is something that's so intrinsically linked to her birth and her and her race specifically, and in a sense that isn't touched upon because to Matt's description earlier, it's really just like, well, accept who you are, and if that's the baseline broad message, they get that across. But as you start to hold a magnifying glass to it, you're like, well, but it doesn't really work. Did it succeed? Did the movie follow a through line to get there? Or they just said, she's happy now,
I thought the reveal of her having the patterns and, seeing that she is part demon was really well done. I like that, as I alluded to earlier, that scene where she's kind of losing her voice. We think that maybe she keeps rushing out of rehearsals and she's rushing to release the new single, and you don't know why. And the biggest through line, I think, throughout is that she's hiding it from Zoe and Mira. And she's like terrified that they will reject her, or that they will, think of her the way that they think of the demons that they are literally defending the world from. And I think that is a big story plot hole when you think about what Matt raised, where like, why is she the only representation of like a good demon? if there were others, would she have this fear or this shame? And I mean, shame is kind of a heavy theme for a children's movie. So I get wanting to keep it a little bit lighter, but it's also a great character motivator. And I think that they could have delved deeper into that shame element.
Yeah. I alluded to this earlier too, and I think this movie, some of what bumps this movie or where I bump with this movie is just the general pacing and structure of it. So we don't spend enough time really developing the things that could really elevate this movie on a like thematic level. But again, it's a kids movie, you know,
it's
like
movie.
And I think and the kids love the things that are shiny and musical and all that stuff, right? Like
hey, but kids movies and animated movies can be deep. They can have lots of layers and themes, and they can appeal to all audiences. That's completely true. I just think that this movie does fall a little bit short of those broad stroke themes when held up to a little bit of questioning or scrutiny by not a child. But hey, there are some smart kids out there. I'm sure they're asking the same questions where it's like, Rumi is half demon. Does that mean she's evil? Like, does that mean she's half like, are we going to get Dark Rumi in the sequel? I don't know. I'm sure some kids are asking. And their parents are like, I don't know. Please turn on anything else.
I don't work at Sony.
Sony doesn't have the rights to this anymore, babe.
They goofed.
They
goofed.
Well, let's talk about that, right? Like, so this movie was originally with Sony. You can see Sony's, when the Sony logo popped up on screen, there was a kid who very loudly said, Sony. Also,
he knows they messed
was
up.
a very, very smart kid. He knew half the movie. He recited half of the dialogue out loud for most of the movie.
I'm annoyed by those kids now, but I was that kid, so I have a special place in my heart for them also, you know? But yes, this was originally a Sony production. In 2021, when this movie was announced, Netflix and Sony entered into an agreement. This was partially fueled by the pandemic and partially fueled by Sony not having its own streaming platform. So they entered into a deal with Netflix that all of their new releases would air or stream concurrently on Netflix, like after a certain period of time, after a certain theatrical window. So Sony it's a little murky why this was done necessarily, if it was budgetary, that this movie went over budget, or if they felt that the audience was not wide enough for them to make that budget back. But they ended up selling this movie as part of that pre-negotiated kind of deal with Netflix to stream it, and Netflix paid back the $100 million budget and a fee of $25 million to acquire the movie and future properties. But Sony does get a piece of the soundtrack revenue and the sales from, the that come from the box office. So I guess they're making out okay. But I'm sure that somebody got fired for this.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, probably it's a huge miss on their part. In a certain sense, right? This kind of came up in our podcast last week, but it's really interesting to know, like, this movie had like stood on its own without being released on Netflix first? Could this just have been purely theatrical release first? I mean, being like non-IP or anything. It does feel like, in a sense, cooked up by an algorithm, this movie, right? You have K-pop, very popular, and you pair them with like Demon Hunt, like some magic thing. Okay,
Demons.
Cool. Like, let's do it. I don't know, Matt, what do you think? Like, if you had heard about this movie, or like, if you had kids or younger siblings or something, what would you have made of this movie if it was just like, coming to theaters soon, K-pop Demon Hunters?
I feel like I definitely would have written it off, because kind of the way you describe it, feeling like algorithm generated, just the fact that it's called K-pop Demon Hunters is just like imagine if we had like R&B vampire slayers, or just like you know, like
You mean
it's just
Sinners?
like it's a genre of music. Like it's just like it's you know, it's just like a goofy title, but yeah,
It's very baity. It's like it's one of those titles where like it tells you exactly what it is, which is good and bad. Like you know exactly what you're gonna get, but it's also baiting you to be like, well, what are we gonna do with this?
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I think being on Netflix helped because it gave people time to watch it and then kind of start gassing it up online and stuff like that, and start a dialogue with it or surrounding the movie. So I really do think that it having a little more time to cook in the cultural zeitgeist and stuff like that really helped, as opposed to like, you know, if it had a theatrical release and it's like, well, if you don't see it in that 1 month, then you didn't see it, whatever.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Gabby, what do you think?
I mean, that's really interesting to hear, especially coming from K-pop fan Matt, because I would have thought that maybe releasing this wide would have played to a bigger audience because K-pop is such a big deal. Like it is so popular at this moment, and it has been for the past few years, obviously, since this has been in development. So I would have thought that maybe it had a wider appeal in theaters because of that. But it's interesting that to hear Matt say that, yeah, he would have written it off, and that maybe other people would have written it off too. I think it's interesting. This strategy, I do like. People have kind of ragged on Netflix for years for not giving their movies proper theatrical releases. A lot of directors don't want to work with them because of it. But I think that this strategy is kind of interesting. Like, release it on Netflix first, see if it has the juice, and then release it in theaters and make money off of it. Because otherwise, I mean, I'm firmly of the opinion that like leaving something like this just on streaming is leaving money on the table. Like, I think it's absolutely brilliant that they did the sing-along versions. I'm sure they're all sold out. Like, you know, I'm sure that there's more of an audience now built in. It's almost like they made this movie IP in like a really short amount of time, you know? It's almost like they made it IP within like 3 months, and now they're like, we're going to put it in theaters, and everyone's like rushing to see it. And so I think that that's a really like, it sounds a little wonky as a theatrical output strategy, but I think it works. Like, it kind of works.
I 100% agree. I really think that this is the way now that like kids movies, or movies that like, obviously there is a much bigger appeal to this movie than just kids, a bigger audience than just kids, right? Like, you know, people love the music, people are falling in love with these characters are on Fortnite, you can use them, you know.
They are.
Matt, we gotta do trios, like let's
I'm
cue
Zoe,
up.
bro. Let's go. That's my girl.
But it doing with kids movies, though, it's so important for now, currently in the current time, that these kids have to know these characters, because why are they going to sign up to sit in a dark room that's really loud for an hour and a half, and their parents are telling them to shut up if they don't know who these characters are, right? So like, we're seeing so many original movies from Disney Pixar, and DreamWorks to a certain extent, like just like not take off because parents don't know what they're getting into. Kids don't know what they're getting into, really. So that's why Disney has to rely on these, like, you know, reboots and sequels and things like that. But
then those movies hit Disney Plus or something, and they have really long legs. Like something like Elemental, which I think I thought was awful. Like, frankly, I thought it was very bad. But it was cute. It was like nice to look at, I guess. And it did okay in theaters, but once it hit Disney Plus, it like took off, you know, like kids were like, I need to watch Elemental.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if you allow parents to have the decision to like put something on for the kids, and the kids seem to like really like it, then that might be an opportunity now to put it again in theaters. Have a sing-along thing, right? Like, obviously a key component of this is the music of why K-pop Demon Hunters works, right? Key component. Because like, these kids were standing up singing the songs that are being interrupted by scenes of dialogue.
Yeah.
But I do think the three of us, I'm sure no one else has thought this before, but this could be a winning strategy for kids films,
Call us, Disney.
Three-person marketing team, and we only know this tactic.
Yeah, let's go. But it's really interesting how the environment of theater going is sort of evolving. Like, you have things like this where it's sing-along stuff, and then you were talking about the Taylor Swift movie earlier. It's like we are going to the movies into a bigger event than just watching movies. Like there's, obviously like, people like us three are going to enjoy just sitting there in silence in the dark, just watching a movie. But with something like this that is music based and you're encouraged to dance along, it's like, regardless of what age you are, human beings just want to have fun. And it is fun. Like I've gone to a couple of those concert films, that Taylor Swift's entire thing is all copied from K-pop. Like everything she does, K-pop did like a few years before, and it's like smart. It works, so you should do it. But I've been to a couple of those concert films for the K-pop ones, and they weren't explicitly for me, blah blah, but it was fun and people were into it, and they were paying a good amount of money for something that they probably filmed anyway, and just all they had to do was edit down. It was probably pretty low budget. They're already doing the concert. You might as well make money off it and like make a movie off it and make money off it. So yeah, it's
and like
really changing it.
Exactly, like, and the non pop star version of this is like the Talking Heads concert film,
which I love dearly.
Why am I blanking on the name right now?
Stop Making Sense.
Stop Making Sense, right. And like, we talk about this theater in Los Angeles a lot named called Vidiots. Vidiots will regularly do showings of Stop Making Sense where people are encouraged to get up and dance in the front of the screen and in the aisles. And this is like, these are people in their like 30s, 40s that are just dancing along, and it's there's opportunities for that. So it is interesting to see what these kind of events, like what kind of life this will take on. And if something like this kind of like streaming, then theater, then streaming again, then theater again, maybe like these events will be another way for kind of like streamer hits to find a life, or just Netflix releases in general,
Yeah, and I mean, I think that it would make Netflix almost more creator friendly in that way, because it is saying to a director, to a writer, to somebody coming to them with an idea like this, well, if you hit X amount of viewership or X amount of hours streamed, we will like consider theatrical distribution. And there's a chance. Right now, they really only release your movie in theaters if you are Guillermo del Toro and you like demand it for awards consideration. Otherwise, you have to be K-pop Demon Hunters, and you have to be one of the most watched things ever on the platform to get this kind of treatment. We talked in our last episode about how they're going to put the finale of Stranger Things in theaters, but they don't put more than half of their movies in theaters. So it's kind of interesting, like what the line is for them.
Yeah.
But you have a question here, Evan, and I want to mostly hear Matt's response. Matt, do you think this works as live action? Because they will inevitably try to make this live action.
That's tough. I don't think so, because I don't know what it being live action brings to this.
Nothing. Money. It's the same as it would be the equivalent of doing like the Disney remakes that are all in live action, that like it's beat for beat the same exact story, but you're just making money.
Who cares?
The story still works, but I actually don't know if this story does work without animation. Like animation is such a key factor in the style of this movie, the slapstick humor, the visuals, the colors. I don't know if you could achieve the same thing with live action, and I really sincerely hope they don't try.
Yeah, I mean, it would be scary. The demons would be actually scary, Like right now, they're just.
It would scare kids. Yeah, creepy, they're kooky.
Right?
They're kooky.
Yeah. You're allowed to take a lighter tone, and I think the creators have talked about like how so much of the like, especially in the beginning, the fun big expressions that they do feels
they're
so
anime influenced.
yeah, just so emblematic of like these characters and just like the general tone of the movie. That trying to recreate some of that stuff is not would not quite work in live action. I mean, I for one hope there's like 100 like animated spin-offs and it never touches live action. I would love a video game, honestly, where you can play the three characters. Because just like playing a recent release called Hades 2, and in that game you get to try a variety of weapons, and I was just seeing all their different weapons. I was like, oh,
their weapons are really cool.
I play? Yeah.
The weapons are really, really on point. I love them.
Yeah,
I was like,
sick.
I want that action figure actually for myself. So I see it. I totally see the path for that. But yeah, I agree. I hope that they do any kind of animation exploration that they want and that they never approach live action.
Well, let's also talk about kind of like how this movie actually relates to K-pop. Like earlier, off mic, Matt was kind of telling us a little bit about how like the movie's relationship with like the history of K-pop. You kind of talked about like the lore of the genre earlier. Yeah, Matt, where do you want to start with that?
I don't know. It's like I definitely noticed certain characters to me as a K-pop fan felt like they were trying to reference certain people. Like a lot of the Saja boys, I was like, I know who I know who you're supposed to be. The baby Saja, where he's the cute one with the deep voice, like that's a thing. In K-pop groups, in multiple K-pop groups, which like obviously these are real people, so they're not like, oh, this is a character archetype. Like this is a real person. But there are multiple groups where the sweetest, babyest looking guy has a really deep voice. Like it's the two that come to mind are Yeosang from ATEEZ and Felix from Stray Kids, who, you know, are both very popular groups. And that was a funny reference that I felt like they were making. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but that's definitely it. And then visually, Baby Saja looked not a lot, but like it was evoking Jimin a bit to me from BTS. It was just a lot of the references, like when the Saja boys come in for the first time and they make everything colorful, like that is so Dynamite by BTS music video 2020 or whenever that came out. God. Like the colors of it and everything, I was like, that is so 2020 K-pop, especially because you said it was in development hell for a while. It would make sense that is a time that they're referencing. I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
That's why it looks so familiar. My little cousins used to listen to Dynamite on repeat with the different music videos, and I was like, why do these? It's very, very Dynamite coded for sure. I also want to shout out YouTuber ProZD, or Sungwon Cho, aka ProZD, who voiced Abby Saja. That's awesome. I was looking at the cast list again. Abby, so funny.
So funny.
The other thing that I really like, because having talked to other people who have listened to K-pop for a long time, is the kind of intro that talks about, like, you know, this generation of hunters that are protecting the world. It's interesting to see the actual generations of K-pop, like, as it moves through time. And that, I know that is like a kind of a nomenclature, so to speak, to talk about K-pop as like a genre, right? Like a generations of, like, this is like new generation or something like that, right, Matt?
Yeah. They talk about them in generations. Yeah.
So a nice little link there, at least, and just to pay homage to the kind of like different types of artists who came before. And just the songs were, I mean, like, you know, it was a lot of people collaborated on these on the album, and different writers, including EJ, who provides the vocals for Rumi. I remember just like you said, Gabby, like this K-pop, all this like really worked for you. I also felt like it really just like, these feel like they are real K-pop songs. You know,
they do. They feel like, real. Like, I mean, granted, again, my bar is low. I don't have a lot of familiarity with K-pop groups or K-pop songs in the wild, other than maybe Dynamite. But but yeah, it worked for me, and I bought in because the songs felt real, and they felt like, better than what I'd heard on the radio or like just on Spotify recently. I was like, damn. I was like, they're putting in the work.
Yeah, and
Huntrix.
At that karaoke party I mentioned too, like when someone put on Golden, I remember being like, once I heard it, I was like, oh, I feel like I know the rhythm of the song. Like I kind of know where it's going. I know how it's gonna sound, but it also it's not necessarily predictable in a way that like I don't want to listen to. I'm like, this just feels real. It feels like an actual song, and if yeah, like you said, they did their homework.
It's grounded in that way. Like I feel like even though Matt says that, according to Matt and I trust that they're a little bit dated references, I think that the songs feel very grounded in that culture and like the K-pop fan mentality, and that's why they're working for both people who really like K-pop and people who, like me, are kind of new to it and didn't give it much thought until they saw this movie. But now I'm like, okay, these slap. I'm putting Golden on my regular drive to work playlist. Let's go.
It's a banger.
It is. Oh my god.
Absolute banger. Gotta stay hyped. I think it's really interesting as we segue a little bit into our next pick to note that this was, we've alluded to, a Sony production, and the next movie we're going to talk about is also a Sony production, Sony Animation. And just want to say that what they're doing with animation post Spiderverse is really interesting to me. I think that we talked a little bit about doing, to spoil a possible pairing that we thought about for this movie. They were also behind Mitchell's versus the Machines. Like just their animation style post Spider-Verse and their willingness to experiment with it is really something interesting to me, and I am interested in them letting creators kind of do what they want, bring that to life, like bring the kind of anime vibes to life in K-pop Demon Hunters and the K-pop music video influences, and and also rip things from a comic book in Spider-Verse, and even more so in Across the Spider-Verse, like they get even crazier with it. Like I'm really interested in the development of just how they are kind of championing animation and animators.
And I feel like both this Spider-Verse will definitely we'll get into some of that influence, but like I feel like this movie will, maybe this is like hyperbolic, but this could be a huge influence on kind of not only animated films but animated kids films too, like moving
absolutely
forward, and things that the studios are trying to prioritize. But as we wrap up, any final thoughts or shout outs on K-pop Demon Hunters? I wanted to personally, I love chanting couch, 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 couch,
couch, couch, couch.
Yes, I loved when they actually get to go to the spa at the end, the bathhouse. Like to see a Korean spa on screen was really kind of just nice, because my girlfriend's been like trying to get me to go for years, and she was like, look, that could be you. And I was like, couch, couch, couch. Couch, couch. But looks very relaxing. Maybe K-pop Demon Hunters will get me to a Korean spa. Yeah. Look out, We Spa.
Look out, We Spa. Golden into Takedown at the end. That scene like feels so peak. Like Golden already incredible. You're on a high, and then when they do the about face and the demons are kind of like ripping her down, it's just like, oh, brutal stuff. It's like that whole animated sequence was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a nitpick about God, I keep blanking on his name. I'm so sorry. Genu, when he sacrifices himself.
Yeah.
I mean, my bump is that now maybe it wouldn't have been as much of a bump for me if I had seen this a few months ago. But now that I know that this is almost definitely going to get like a sequel and a whole world and stuff, I'm like, he'll be back. Like, so like that sacrifice didn't really hold a lot of weight for me. But that's about it. I look forward to seeing him return in some way, but
yeah, it's just
we'll see.
just a little unearned. We don't really know how he gets there.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, I guess this is it for you until K-pop Demon Hunters 2, Huntrix Rise, or whatever it'll be called. Huntrix Rise Up.
Yeah. Matt, any shout outs?
Nah, it was a banger. I liked it.
It's a banger. It's got some real Oscar potential for best animated feature and for best song, of course. I am really personally looking forward to seeing Golden performed on the Oscar stage, like for a wider audience. Like I think for this to be like, I mean, Evan, you said earlier to be re-released. I mean, it's being re-released right now for over Halloween, but I wouldn't be shocked if it gets another re-release closer to
time.
I think it will because like voting has not started for a lot of these major awards. So
yeah,
I know that they're gonna Netflix doesn't fuck around about awards. Like they want their awards.
I mean, and they're gonna need to do some performance because the fans have been like clamoring for another live performance from the three singers, because the one that they did on the late night, whichever late night show it was, the TV director cut away from EJ, the main singer, for the high note in Golden. Like, if you guys look up the live,
I would never.
Away from her.
I would never have done that.
Hire Matt Prince,
oh
technical
my
director
god!
extraordinaire.
Every time a director does that, I'm like, I wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been me.
Why?
I would have known.
Why would you do that?
I would never. I would have listened to the song before, and I would have known.
Yeah. It's just brutal. It's absolutely brutal stuff.
I feel like that is what it is. It's like, it's really giving you didn't listen to this song beforehand, huh?
Yeah. No, you got to lock in, and I wouldn't have made that mistake.
Yeah.
Hire me.
All right. Well, Matt, thanks for joining us for the K-pop Demon Hunter section of the podcast. Matt, where can people find you?
Sweet Boy Matt 3 on all platforms. Some of them don't have the 3. I'm working on getting rid of the 3. But yeah, make Pokemon content. I'm fun. I don't know. What's up?
Ooh. Check out Matt on the internet, and we'll be right back to talk about Into the Spiderverse. We're back to talk about one of the greatest films released in the 2010s, and I don't think I'm being hyperbolic in saying that. Into the Spiderverse. This movie was released December 14th, 2018, directed by Bob Persichetti, Peter Ramsey, and Rodney Rothman, written by Phil Lord and Rodney Rothman, produced by Avi Arad, Amy Pascal, Phil Lord, and Christopher Miller, of course, Lord and Miller, and Christina Steinberg. Starring the voices of Shamik Moore, Jake Johnson, Haley Steinfeld, Mahershala Ali, Brian Tyree Henry, Lily Tomlin, Luna Lauren Velez, Zoe Kravitz, John Mulaney, Liev Schreiber, Kimiko Glenn, and Nicolas Cage. What a cast!
Just like A-list after A-list, Academy Award nominees, winners. Mahershala Ali, you got two-time Academy Award winner Mahershala Ali playing one of the best villain performances like of the century so far, like just in voice. Like, I'm so serious.
So I mean, it's incredible. Everyone just the ensemble is just so powerful.
The casting is absolutely insane.
I know when Haley Steinfeld her first line, she tells him it like wasn't a good joke. I'm just like, one of the best to ever do it. Just right there, immediately.
Yep.
All right. Well, before we get into the movie, let's talk about the box office bet here. Gabby wrote in the script, this is going to be a little tricky.
It is, because Into the Spider-Verse earned a very respectable $394 million during its box office run, and K-pop Demon Hunters has only had a few weeks combined of limited release by Netflix in select theaters, and to date, it has earned $19.2 million. But it looks like it will add a little bit more this Halloween weekend that we are recording on. I don't know if it's going to get 300 million more, but we've talked about, by now multiple times, K-pop Demon Hunters was originally developed with Sony Pictures, the same studio behind Spiderverse, and was sold to Netflix. So, I mean, with a Sony release, it could have gotten that wide release. Could it have surpassed Spider-Verse in that scenario? We'll never know. We will simply never know.
Yeah, and we have no idea how many parents were forced by their kids at gunpoint to sign up for Netflix again so they could watch K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, that's so fair.
We don't know what the monthly subscriptions look like. So yeah,
high,
I mean,
really high.
Yeah, hard to compare, but I mean, hey, props to all the teams involved.
I mean, this movie it's called Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, and I mean, this movie has an added advantage, a very clear advantage that you noted that K-pop Demon Hunters doesn't, which is IP. It's a Spider-Man movie. It's about a different kind of Spider-Man. It's about a different character, a very beloved character in the comic books, from my understanding. And just seeing him on screen for the first time had a lot of people really excited, because Miles Morales, this character I'm referring to, has not been seen on screen in any of the Marvel movies or in the past Spider-Man franchises. So I think that it had a lot of added excitement for seeing that character behind it, as well as just being a Spider-Man film, you know? Like it's Spider-Man. Like I'm not a superhero kind of person, really. I do not enjoy sitting through the Marvel movies. But I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite. If I really had to pick a favorite hero, he's by far my favorite. Maybe I just have a lot of love and sentiment for the Tobey Maguire movies, but this movie, this is my favorite Spider-Man movie, other than Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man is, I think in studies or surveys or things, I think he's probably the most popular and well-known character, right? There is something...
Has to be. Everyone knows the lore.
Character. Yeah, everyone knows the lore, and kids love him. Kids love dressing up as Spider-Man. Like, I think the thing about Spider-Man, which this movie, this is the movie's thesis, is that anyone can wear the mask, right? Like, you have not only multiple iterations of Spider people in this, but you have a new person becoming a Spider-Man. And the scene, you know, right behind me, this is, if you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing?
What's going on with you?
If you haven't seen this movie, turn away now, because the spoilers happen. The spoiler that happens in the first act break pretty much is one of the most defining parts of this movie, in which the main universe that this movie takes place in, that Miles Morales lives in, his Spider-Man dies, and behind me is the image of the funeral scene, which is I think what when you first watched this movie, Gabby, and I think it's pretty obvious by now that Gabby and I both love this movie, but when you first watched this movie, how hard did this funeral scene hit?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I saw this movie for the first time in theaters, and I did not really know what I was going into. I wasn't familiar with the Miles Morales character. Of course, I was familiar with the other Spider-Man movies. I was familiar with the lore. This movie won me over immediately by poking fun at that lore.
Yes.
And by just playing through all the different iterations of Peter Parker. And it at the time, especially when like the Tom Holland Spider-Man was really taking off, I was like, okay, this feels like it's in on the joke. And to go from that tone of like being like very in on the joke and very, you know, narrative forward, to just like a crashing halt to mourn Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's both, it's very effective emotionally, and it's also incredibly smart writing, that you are using it as a narrative device to mourn a character that you don't really know, but you feel like you do know, to make room for a new Spider-Man in this universe, and to have a reason why this universe needs another Spider-Man, and not to have him be a sidekick, not have him be, you know, lesser than Peter Parker in any way.
Yeah, and that he's forging his own path, that is, maybe there are frameworks that have existed of it, right? Like in the origin story, but he's finding his own way through it, right? For people like me who are not as familiar with the character of Miles Morales going into this movie, I think it's really important, and it's really smart to establish that Peter Parker did exist. Peter Parker was beloved. He was Spider-Man. He's gone. Yeah.
In this universe, you know, like,
yeah.
And it
Also,
hits you. It really does because you're so familiar with it. And but at the same time, you believe in Miles. Like the movie really establishes him and his kind of like underdog mentality
mhm.
very well in the beginning. He's just another kid from the city.
Yeah, I mean, just like in the scene where Miles just he returns to where he was bitten by the spider. He meets the Spider-Man in his universe, and just the scene of the two of them, they instantly connect. Right, their Spidey sense, which Gabby
Mhm.
has very comedically placed behind her. The Spidey sense goes off, and they're like, "You're just like me. Like I thought I was the only one." And you can see that immediately. He's like, "I can show you the ropes. Like I can help you like
Mhm.
work through this,
And
and
then he
it's gonna
dies.
be
He
okay."
dies, Evan.
But and that's why Miles feels called to like pick up the mantle, right? Because he immediately he is a kid who is like stuck between two worlds, right? Pulled into this direction that his dad is trying to send him to, whereas he wants to pursue his own interests that his uncle he relates to more, and he finds suddenly a mentor figure who on is supposed to get him. This is
Mhm.
now his thing, and this is I like he's the movie plays with like the right phrase great expectations or expectations in general a lot, and finally he knows he can become this person, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely brutal when he's like, I always get back up, but the coughing's not a good sign. You're like, oh no. And then when it
Mm.
happens, I remember I saw it in the theater. I was so shocked. I was like, I cannot, like,
I
what
mean, I
is
didn't
happening?
expect it. It's unexpected,
Mm,
and especially, I mean, I tried to go into this movie without knowing very much, so like the delight of seeing all of the different universes Spider-Man
yeah.
and how they kind of shape Miles and like lift him up into who he becomes is really, or who he's becoming. His
Hmm.
story is not over. His story is ongoing. There's a sequel to this movie, and there will be another sequel next year. Um, but or is it 2027? Are they going to make us
2027.
wait
I
that
think they
long?
pushed it. Yeah. Um.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It's
gotta have something to look forward to.
honestly, truly. And I guess while we're still kind of like talking about the beginning of the movie, I think very similarly to K-pop Demon Hunters, this movie does an incredible job, right, setting up the tone and style of this movie just immediately, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when they were moving through the different character introductions in K-pop Demon Hunters, I was like, oh, we're in good hands. Like I'm
Yeah, yeah.
smiling. I feel like this is great. And same thing. As soon as Sunflower kicks in and you see
Uh,
Miles, you're like, oh my god, this is awesome.
who
Like,
is he?
yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, we all right. You established Spider-Man in less than 5 minutes. That's
30, yeah, yeah.
awesome. And
3 minutes.
now, yeah. It's so good. And every what it's a bummer though because like K-pop Demon Hunters, right? We don't know what exactly the production details were and all those things like that. But going from that and then watching Spider-Verse, the every frame is so detailed and so
Yeah.
intentional, and it's
It's
filled with so much
hyper
stuff.
detailed.
You know?
I think that each movie has its own style, which I really appreciate and
Mm-hmm.
admire. And I think that's something they have in common is that they're incredibly intentional in their styles.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spider-Verse, it wants to feel like you're in the pages of a comic book. And it
Mm-hmm.
does. It goes to extreme lengths to detail a specific kind of like hand-drawn and computer crafted
Mm-hmm.
animation
And
that
the dot
feels
shading
the
too. Yeah.
shading that feels real.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about it. I love that care that's taken in any movie. And I think K-pop Demon Hunters, does that to a lesser extent. I think that maybe they just maybe they didn't have as much time.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not sure, but I think
It
that
feels
it's
more
less
focused
detailed, but it's
on.
just as stylistic.
Yeah, and it feels more focused on. Yeah, it's they have their own styles, right? It's not any less
Mhm.
stylistic or anything. I
No.
just think that with K-pop Demon Hunters, where they're able to put more of their focus was in the fight scenes as well and character expressions,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Hmm.
the world, which this world is so rich and textured and just astounding. Every time I watch this movie, just feel like you catch new things. Like I didn't even know at one point towards the end of the movie when he does the shoulder touch and he says hey, that hey is written in the background, like
it
with
is.
just like the text styling, just but very like somewhat more subtly, and I was just like, oh, so good. It's great.
I love this movie so much, if you can't tell. But I mean, the way that it going further into the movie, the way that it approaches its villains in that same kind of style of like, okay, you've seen these villains before. These are all Spider-Man's villains, but you don't know which one is going to be like the big bad almost. You know, we get Doc Ock, we get
Kingpin,
the Prowler, we get Kingpin. The Prowler is like a reveal. It's like an okay. And it's a great reveal. And it's really, you know, that was a moment that I distinctly remember in the theater being like an audible gasp, like an oh my God, that I was not familiar with this part of the story at all. And I my jaw was on the floor. Still is every time I watch it. And Mahershala, he's chewing that scenery, he's eating in that scene.
Yeah, it's so good. It really is.
Just the execution. I mean, we talked about this a little bit with K-pop Demon Hunters, but part of why we chose these to pair wasn't just because of the link between Sony, the link between the animation, but also because we felt like they both had a pretty clear chosen one narrative, or like a hero's journey narrative that feels complicated by their universe, their place in the universe, or their worlds, and how their emotions and how their backgrounds and their makeups affect the world around them. And I think that Rumi really comes through on that. I mean, with reservations, but Miles delivers. You know, the Miles character arc really just comes through, and it gets you in the gut every time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, similarly,
it's just so effective. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to K-pop Demon Hunters, right? He's like presented with all these paths and things he could do, and really the thing that is the thing that he succeeds when he finally feels it the most successful is when he just is himself, right? He finds his own version of being Spider-Man, and like he makes the black suit but feels more comfortable in how he's moving throughout the world, and not
he's like, I don't have to be Spider-Man in the red mask. I can make my own costume. I can make mistakes, you know, I can be learning, and I can learn from other universes, you know, like I don't need to stick to my own world anymore. The world is bigger than just this one, you know, quite literally. There are like infinite worlds in this movie, which, I mean, if we're going to talk about like the whole multiverse fad that came with storytelling, this was the peak. This was like the only multiverse movie that I think works, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the sequel quite a bit too, but not as much as this one.
I like the sequel, but I think this movie is perfect. And the sequel just very much feels like half a movie to me, which I mean, I think it's amazing. I saw it twice in theaters. I think it's really well done. And I'm eagerly anticipating the third one, but yeah, it felt like half a movie.
Yeah.
It felt like when I saw Dune Part 1 and I was like, okay, we're cooking, but that's half of the movie. Denis, where is Part 2?
Where's the rest?
Where is it?
They're both long halves. They're really long halves.
Oh my God. Across the Spiderverse is long. It's
really
a long girl.
Yeah. I don't think we got a chance to really highlight the voice cast of K-pop Demon Hunters. I think everyone's super fun. Everyone's doing a really great job, and I think that is definitely on display here. Right, we were already gushing about the cast of this movie, but everyone just falls into these roles or disappears into these roles so well. It's
Lily Tomlin as
Aunt May.
As Aunt May, absolutely inspired.
Yeah,
like inspired casting. Just like the grit that comes with her voice, the soft kind of like harshness of her voice, like that kind of juxtaposes itself. is so good, especially in that scene in like the old Peter's lair when she's trying to kind of be like, yeah, he was him, but you can be you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, also like, the Shamik Moore and Haley Steinfeld, like when they're on the bus and they're talking, and
Ugh.
like Haley Steinfeld has to do so much too, because like Gwen is hiding so much, and like obviously they still were figuring things out, I think, with her character and which like what kind of backstory they wanted to go with
Another
long
character
term.
that hasn't been on screen really. Like we've seen Gwen Stacy, but we have not seen Spider
Yeah.
Woman, Spider Gwen on screen.
Yeah, yeah. This version of Gwen Stacy, yeah, very different, and just like every line that she had, especially with the second movie, it's like everything feels so loaded, and just like she's just holding so much, like she's hiding, and oh, it's just great. I mean, it's awesome.
Would you say like Rumi is hiding part of herself? Yeah. So like there's shame in this movie too. And who would have known that there was so much shame in animated movies that are meant for all audiences?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's also an interesting factor, is that we kept categorizing K-pop Demon Hunters as a kids movie, but I think that's mostly driven by the audience that we've seen kind of
gravitate
go for it. Yeah. Like, I mean, it totally could be enjoyed as an adult. Like 3 adults watched it for this podcast and had a good time. But
yeah.
But this movie, I wonder if it is that IP element, the Spider-Man factor, where this feels like a true all audience movie. This doesn't feel like a kids movie. Like it never feels like, like it's taking it easy on you. Like it's very complex.
Yeah. I think what it does is that it's able to showcase like darker things in it in a way that's like isn't scary per se, right? Like there are really
because it's cartoonish, literally. It's literally comic book cartoons. Like Kingpin, he's huge, he's massive, but he's comically large. Like, you can't actually be afraid of him, because have you ever seen a human being that large?
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, there's really intense scenes, and a lot of it is done in like sort of abstract too, right? Like when you realize what happened with his family, it's kind of like more artistically portrayed, and things like that, and I think that allows a lot of people to take away different things from this, right? Like particularly like Jake Johnson's portrayal of Spider-Man, just like
Peter B. Parker.
Yeah, Peter B. Parker knocks it out of the park when they finally have to say goodbye, and that he's trying to stay in this world because he doesn't want to go back. He doesn't know who he is.
He's afraid.
Back there
Yeah,
anymore,
he's
right?
afraid.
It reminded me, watching the scene again, reminded me of our one of our favorite moments from Asteroid City, right? When Adrian Brody is like, or when Jason Schwartzman's like, how do I know if I'm playing him right? Like, how do I know if I'm doing it right? And
doesn't
same
matter.
Thing, Jake Johnson's voice like kind of cracks. Like, how do I know I'm not gonna mess it up again? And just saying, it's a leap of faith. It's like, oh my god, it's so good. Just, and like I mentioned it when we were, I don't think this is gonna make the cut, but while we were switching backgrounds, like I mentioned to Gabby and Matt that I've just been like, I feel like I've just been like tearing up and like crying all day between K-pop Demon Hunters and Into the Spider-Verse, because this movie is so powerful. And the music is just the added 1-2 punch. That really, the score, I mean, incredible soundtrack, right? Already with like the Metro Boomin and Sunflower, but like this, I mean, the score is just so, Daniel Pemberton like knocks it out of the park here. It's just so good, and the way the strings kind of like rise, it gets me every time.
Should have been nominated for like everything, and like in the when you think about the craft of behind this movie, should have been legitimately in line for every potential Oscar. But it did win Best Animated Feature, which was I remember being a little bit of an upset that year, but I was cheering. I had it on my ballot.
Yeah, I think same. I think I mean, and it deserves it. I think it's such a it's always such an achievement when an animated film can be for all audience and still tell such a deep and complex story that still inspires, that there's still something for kids to take away, but also just inspires people to be the best version of themselves. Like, like they think that this is such a great movie.
Yeah,
it's hard. I feel like we just keep going in circles with saying how much we like it, but it is such an achievement.
But we do. Yeah. And maybe over time we will like K-pop Demon Hunters almost as much. I'm sorry to the children. I'm sorry.
All right, well, let's I the last piece here, right, is there was animation before Spider-Verse and animation after Spider-Verse,
yes.
right? There's so many things that feel like the animation now Spider-Verse inspired, right?
Mm-hmm.
The K-pop Demon Hunters team like watched Spider-Verse and they actually made a conscious decision to kind of like differentiate themselves in a certain way, but it's hard not to be like, you can still see the way the characters move. It still feels very similar in a sense of like this way that the 3D modeling kind of works and like the kind of handheld like feel to the cameras to make it feel a little bit more realistic, you know?
Yeah.
And Spider-Verse is showing how you can push the style, right? Like Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, that was
Spider-Verse
incredible.
coded.
Yeah, incredibly Spider-Verse coded.
Spider-Verse coded. Look for it when the next time you watch an animated film.
I even think Disney's Wish that came out last year was a little, or 2 years ago was a little Spider-Verse coded. And
did not
just the way the characters move. Again, it is like a change in the technology, you know?
I'm not gonna be watching that. But isn't it that a movie literally about like the song When You Wish Upon a Star?
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Okay. I thought that was like the log line, and I was like, this sounds bad. This sounds like you're out. This sounds like that you ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
No shots, but also shots.
But to expand on what I said earlier, as far as like how these movies are going to be are influential, right? Like Spider-Verse, just a huge influence on just stylistically what the audiences are willing to accept as far as things that are like experimental, right? Like people love this. It wasn't like a put off to the majority of audiences. And I feel like with K-pop Demon Hunters, it is like, it will probably encourage people to maybe be a little sillier, and like the characters don't have to look consistent. They can like have these big expressions, but also like we can like put in real music and it's gonna be great, right?
I do think that I'm very curious to see how K-pop Demon Hunters' success will impact the evolution of animation.
Mm-hmm.
And just animated storytelling in general. There's so much you can do with animation. It's like, I really think it's an incredible storytelling tool for any genre. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious if this will embolden more creators to write and explore animated worlds, or explore worlds that can only be told in that big, bold kind, stylistic way, like uber stylistic. Yeah. I'm really curious to see how that works. And I think that legitimately K-pop Demon Hunters feels like the closest thing that I could equivocate it to when we were talking about our alternative pairings, and I have not even told you about this, Evan, is Frozen. It feels like Frozen. Like it feels like when Frozen came out and kids absolutely went bananas. And I saw Frozen in theaters and I cried like a baby because I have a sister. Like, it's one of those things where like the music was catchy, the characters were strong, it was relatable, like the sisterhood was relatable, but also it had these fantastical elements that, just brought you to another place. And I think that I would be interested to see if ultimately K-pop Demon Hunters becomes like the Netflix equivalent of Frozen.
Yeah, I do wonder how many in like 15 to 20 years, how many girls are going to have the demon patterns tattooed.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
I think it would be big. We'll see. We'll have to revisit this.
That's your prediction? Okay.
I think so.
I'm going to bring it out.
Just, a couple little...
A whole sleeve?
Not a whole sleeve. Come on. Not unless everyone changes their public perception of tattoos real quick.
That's really true.
Well, you mentioned already. Let's talk about some of the other alternative pairings, right? Immediately, I mean, I haven't seen Turning Red, but I know a lot of the kind of cultural narrative around that. I feel like Turning Red would have been a great pairing if we...
I love Turning Red.
It's an adorable film. We abided by our rule, right? It has to have come out at least 5 years prior, so we didn't break it just yet. We mentioned Mitchell's and the Machine, another Sony to Netflix movie, also kind of like Spider-Verse style ish.
Yeah,
That would have been
post
fun.
Spider-Verse coded animation.
Female focused character, embarrassed by
Yeah.
her family.
Really relatable stuff. And we talked about doing Kiki's Delivery Service, just to throw in another style of animation, like what predated all of these different styles with Miyazaki, and how
Yeah.
Miyazaki feels like an influence on. It's hard for you to not feel like Miyazaki has influenced all of animation to date.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean,
especially something like K-pop Demon Hunters, you can really see the influence.
and a great arc too, right? Kiki is, I mean, it's incredible. If you haven't seen Kiki's Delivery Service and you're someone who's maybe like a struggling creative, watch that movie.
Watch that movie. It's adorable.
It's adorable. And also one of a surprising movie that I really liked was Kid Cudi's visual album movie on Netflix called Intergalactic, which was also compared to like Spider-Verse style, but again, this was like a Netflix film. Basically kind of like a rom-com for Kid Cudi, but like just animated.
That interests me. I like rom-coms.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's again not breaking the mold by any means, but like I had fun. I like the music in it was also great. I can see why maybe it didn't take off as like a bigger hit, but I remember when the trailer came out, everyone was like, "Yo, this is Spider-Verse," and so that's a pure Netflix trial run at doing that, you know. But I would recommend people to check that one out.
And then there's Frozen, which is
Frozen.
Self-explanatory, but also I explained it just like 3 minutes ago. You can like rewind.
All right. Well, that's gonna be it for us today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Matt, for joining for the K-pop Demon Hunters section of the conversation. Thank you for the technical production on this episode. If you're listening to us on audio, leave a review or comment. Don't forget to check out the video versions of these on YouTube at Back to the Future Pod. You can follow the podcast on Letterboxd at Back to the Pod and on Instagram at Back to the Feature Pod. Thank you all so much for listening. Tune in next time for another movie and another pairing. See you soon.
See ya.